Ethan Blake had spent months on the orbital research station above planet Xylera 7, and every day had felt the same. The station orbited silently, like a silver sentinel above the barren landscape below. Ethan's life had been routine, monitoring sensors, running experiments, and sending daily reports to Earth. He had grown used to the monotony, finding small pleasures in the hum of the engines, the blinking lights of control panels, and the slow orbit of the planet beneath him. Yet today felt different. The alarms were silent, the sensors calm, but Ethan sensed something was about to change. He adjusted his headset, scanning the station's docking bay once again. The airlock doors were empty. The readings on his monitor showed nothing unusual, yet his instincts whispered otherwise. He stepped closer to the viewport, peering into the dark expanse of space where the docking bay should be. Then suddenly she appeared. The figure glided into view, moving with a grace that seemed almost unreal. A young, beautiful alien woman floated through the airlock, her form elegant yet strong. Ethan blinked, unsure if his eyes were deceiving him. The ship's cameras confirmed what he saw. The alien's appearance was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. She had luminous skin that seemed to ripple faintly in the light, long, delicate limbs, and eyes that glimmered with intelligence. But it wasn't her beauty alone that stunned Ethan. It was the confidence with which she carried herself. She walked into the docking bay as if she owned it, though she had never been there before. Ethan's hand trembled slightly as he keyed the intercom. "This is Captain Ethan Blake. Identify yourself." His voice sounded steadier than he felt. For a moment, there was silence. Then a voice echoed, not through the intercom, but in his mind. Ethan froze. It was her voice, clear and calm, yet not spoken aloud. "I am Liara. I mean no harm. I have come because you are the first human I could reach." Ethan's heart raced. Telepathy. The alien was speaking directly into his mind. He forced himself to focus. "Liara," he said aloud, testing the strange communication. "How did you get past the station's security?" "I did not enter as a threat. Your technology is fascinating. I studied it before approaching. Trust is necessary." Her voice was soft, yet carried authority. Ethan exhaled slowly, his mind racing. The station's alarms should have been triggered by this breach. He quickly checked the sensors. No alarms, no alerts. How is that possible? Our biology adapts to the electromagnetic fields of other species. We are subtle. We do not force presence where it is not welcome. The alien's calm explanation did little to ease the tension coiling in Ethan's chest. He had been trained to deal with unexpected situations, but nothing in his years of experience had prepared him for this. Slowly, he approached the docking bay entrance, keeping one hand on the emergency override. Liara walked toward him with measured steps. She removed a shimmering outer suit that protected her from space exposure, revealing her natural form. Ethan couldn't look away. She was mesmerizing, but not in a way that threatened him. She radiated strength and poise. The details of her physiology were alien. Slender and elongated limbs, subtle iridescent patterns on her skin. But there was nothing inappropriate about her presence. Ethan felt awe, not desire. He swallowed hard and held out his hand, uncertain if she would understand this human gesture. Liara paused, tilting her head slightly. Then she reached out, her hand barely touching his. The connection was electric, a silent communication that went beyond words. Her eyes locked onto his, and for a moment Ethan felt as if time had stopped. Suddenly, the station's alarms blared. The sensors had detected an anomaly, an unexpected energy signature from Liara's ship approaching. Ethan acted quickly. "We need to move to the lab." "Now," he said, guiding her through the corridors. Liara nodded, her expression calm. She followed without resistance, her movements almost floating over the floor. As they entered the lab, Ethan secured the doors behind them. The room was bathed in soft light from the observation windows, showing the vast expanse of space beyond. For a moment, neither spoke. Ethan was still trying to process everything: the alien presence, her telepathy, her confidence, and her sudden appearance in his station. Liara stepped closer. She raised her hand and pressed her forehead against his. Ethan blinked in surprise. "On my planet, this is a greeting, a sign of trust and connection." Her voice explained in his mind. The gesture felt intimate yet respectful. Ethan could sense her sincerity. He placed his hand gently on hers, returning the gesture as best as he could. The moment was broken by a new alarm. This time, the station's external defenses detected an approaching ship. Ethan glanced at the monitors. It wasn't hostile yet, but the presence was enough to make him act. He turned to Liara. "We need to get control of the station's defenses. Can you help me?" She nodded, her eyes gleaming with focus. "I can, but you must follow my instructions carefully. Your species has strength, but your methods are different." Ethan moved to the control panel. Liara hovered beside him, guiding his hands with subtle gestures, her telepathy allowing him to understand her thought process. Together they worked in sync, human intuition paired with alien precision. Ethan rerouted power to the defensive systems while Liara adjusted the energy signatures to mask the station's presence. The rogue ship, unaware of the humans' preparation, slowed as it approached, scanning the station for life forms. Minutes passed like hours. Ethan's heart pounded as he typed commands and followed Liara's guidance. Then, with a final adjustment, the sensors showed the approaching ship turning away. The immediate threat was gone. Ethan sank into a chair, exhaling shakily. We did it," he said, still in disbelief. Liara smiled, a radiant expression that seemed to light up the lab. She reached out again, pressing her forehead to his in the same gesture. This time, Ethan understood more clearly. This was her way of saying, "You are a friend, a partner in this challenge." He nodded, returning the gesture. Despite the danger and confusion, a strange calm settled over him. He realized that this alien presence was not just a visitor. She was a reminder of what humanity could achieve when courage and intellect met the unknown. "There is much you do not understand about my world," Liara said in his mind. "And there is much I wish to learn about yours. Trust must grow if we are to survive together." Ethan leaned back, studying her. She seemed almost unreal, a creature of elegance and intelligence beyond his imagining. And yet her confidence, her composure, and her willingness to trust him created a connection he could not ignore. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Ethan showed Liara around the station, explaining the basic systems and protocols. She listened attentively, asking questions in her soft, telepathic voice and offering insights that made him reconsider his own methods. It became clear that they were learning from each other, not just about technology, but about perspective, strategy, and trust. As the artificial night cycle approached, the station settled into quiet hums. Ethan and Liara stood at the observation deck looking down at the planet below. The barren landscape was beautiful in its own stark way, with rivers of iridescent liquid flowing through valleys and towering crystalline structures rising from the plains. Liara turned to him, eyes shining. "Humans are courageous in ways my species sometimes forgets. You are strong not just physically but in spirit." Ethan felt a swell of pride. For months he had felt isolated in this remote station, thinking his contributions were small. Now, with Liara's presence, he saw the potential of humans in a new light, not just as explorers, but as beings capable of connection, trust, and courage that spanned galaxies. Without thinking, he reached out and Liara responded in kind. She pressed her forehead to his again. In human terms, he felt it as a kiss, brief, respectful, and filled with mutual understanding. It was not desire that drove it, but recognition, respect, and the bridging of two worlds. As the night deepened, Ethan realized that the arrival of this alien woman had changed everything. The station was no longer just a place of routine experiments. It had become a meeting point of civilizations, a place where human courage could shine, and where trust could form across species. The first day of this unexpected alliance ended quietly, but Ethan knew the challenges ahead would be immense. The galaxy was vast and danger was always near. Yet he also knew that humans had something unique, the ability to adapt, to learn, and to connect in ways that could shape the future. And as he watched Liara drift gracefully in the low gravity of the observation deck, he felt a thrill of anticipation. This was only the beginning. The first light cycle on the station brought tension along with the usual routine. Ethan had barely slept, his mind racing with thoughts of Liara and the unexpected alliance they had formed. Outside the observation windows, the barren planet of Xylera 7 spread like a living map of unknown possibilities. The day ahead promised new challenges. The rogue ship they had evaded yesterday was likely reporting their position, and Ethan knew it would not take long for more threats to arrive. Liara floated in the lab, her luminous skin catching the soft artificial light. She seemed calm, as if the dangers of the galaxy were mere obstacles in her path. Ethan watched her, marveling at her composure. She had been confident from the moment she entered the station, yet there was a gentleness to her, a quiet intelligence that drew him in. "We need to strengthen the station's defenses," Ethan said, breaking the silence. "They'll send more ships once they realize we are here." Liara nodded. "Agreed, but brute force will not be enough. Strategy is necessary, combining your methods with mine." Ethan set to work at the control panel following her guidance. Liara moved beside him, pointing out vulnerabilities in the station's shield systems that humans had overlooked. Her knowledge of energy manipulation and space physics was astounding. Ethan realized that her species had evolved to handle extreme conditions, their technology and abilities refined over centuries. Hours passed as they worked together. Ethan rerouted power to reinforce the station's shields while Liara adapted the energy fields to make them less detectable to hostile sensors. She guided him in ways he would never have imagined, and he followed, trusting her instincts. By mid-cycle, the station was ready. The defenses were stronger, smarter, and adaptive, ready for whatever came next. Their work was interrupted by a sudden alert. Multiple ships appeared on the sensors, moving quickly toward the station. Ethan's heart raced. "They are faster than we anticipated," he thought, his fingers flying over the control panels. Liara remained calm, her eyes glowing faintly as she analyzed the incoming fleet. "We can outmaneuver them, but only if we work together. You will follow my instructions exactly," she said. Ethan nodded. "I'm ready." The station trembled slightly as the first ships opened fire. Energy blasts struck the shields, but they held, absorbing the impact. Ethan coordinated the defense systems while Liara manipulated the energy fields around the station, creating illusions that confused the attackers' sensors. For every tactic the enemy used, they had a counter, a blend of human ingenuity and alien precision. The battle continued, intense and chaotic. Ethan's mind worked at lightning speed, analyzing trajectories, predicting attacks, and adjusting the station's systems. Liara hovered near him, her telepathy guiding him through calculations he could not have done alone. Together they became an unstoppable team. Hours passed, but the human spirit remained unbroken. Ethan's confidence grew with each successful maneuver. The attackers, frustrated by the station's resilience, began to retreat. Liara and Ethan exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement of their success. After the immediate threat subsided, Ethan allowed himself a brief moment to breathe. "We did it," he said, leaning back in his chair. "I didn't think we could hold them off." Liara smiled. "You underestimated your species. Humans are capable of remarkable things when pushed to their limits." Ethan felt a sense of pride swelling within him. He had always believed in human resilience, but seeing it validated through action alongside Liara was exhilarating. He realized that this alliance was more than a partnership. It was a symbol of what humans could achieve in the galaxy. The day continued, but the station was quiet now, the fleet having moved on. Ethan and Liara moved to the observation deck, floating in low gravity as they looked at the planet below. The view was breathtaking. Jagged crystal formations reflected sunlight in dazzling patterns, and rivers of liquid shimmered like molten metal across the plains. "This planet holds secrets," Liara said. "We must explore carefully," Ethan nodded. "Agreed. But we'll need supplies and maybe a shuttle to land safely. The terrain is unpredictable." Liara considered this. "Your species' adaptability will be useful. Together we can manage." The two spent the next hours planning their exploration. Ethan was impressed by Liara's strategic mind. She analyzed every potential risk, from environmental hazards to unknown life forms. Ethan, in turn, provided insights into human technology, improvisation, and problem-solving under pressure. They complemented each other perfectly. As the cycle progressed, Ethan realized he was not just fascinated by Liara's abilities, but also inspired by her confidence. She faced danger without hesitation, trusted her instincts, and respected his input. He had never met anyone like her, and he felt an unexpected connection forming. Later, as artificial night settled over the station, Ethan returned to the lab. Liara was already there, studying maps of the planet's surface projected holographically. She looked up as he approached, her eyes meeting his with quiet intensity. "You have learned quickly," she said. "Your species has potential beyond what I expected." Ethan smiled, a mixture of pride and humility. "I have a good teacher," he replied. Liara's lips curved into a gentle smile. She floated closer, her presence calm but commanding. Then, without warning, she pressed her forehead against his again, their silent gesture of trust and connection. Ethan felt a warmth spread through him, not of desire, but of recognition and understanding. It was a seal of mutual respect, a promise that they would face the galaxy's challenges together. The night passed with conversation, plans, and shared understanding. Ethan explained human history, achievements, and the spirit that had driven humanity to explore the stars. Liara shared insights about her world, its culture, and the philosophy that guided her people. They spoke in a mixture of words and telepathy, learning from each other in ways that transcended language. Morning came, and with it, a decision. They would descend to the planet's surface. Ethan prepared a shuttle, carefully packing supplies and equipment. Liara guided him in modifying the shuttle's systems to accommodate her physiology. The shuttle gleamed under the station lights, ready for the descent. As they boarded, Ethan felt a thrill of anticipation. This was more than exploration. It was a journey into the unknown, with the galaxy itself as their canvas. Liara took her place beside him, her presence reassuring. The descent was breathtaking. The shuttle glided through the planet's thin atmosphere, revealing crystal towers, iridescent rivers, and valleys filled with strange flora. The landscape was both beautiful and dangerous, a testament to the planet's resilience and mystery. When they landed, Ethan stepped onto the surface first, scanning for hazards. Liara followed, her movements fluid and precise. Together they navigated the terrain, analyzing samples, recording data, and exploring formations that had never been touched by human or alien hands. Hours passed, and their bond deepened. They learned to anticipate each other's moves, communicated without words, and shared moments of quiet wonder as they gazed at the alien vistas. Ethan realized that this was the essence of humanity's strength: curiosity, courage, and the willingness to form connections across the universe. As the sun set over the crystalline mountains, Ethan and Liara stood on a ridge looking at the horizon. The light reflected off her skin, highlighting the patterns that made her so unique. She turned to him, her expression softening. "Today, you have shown courage, intelligence, and adaptability. You have proven why your species survives," she said. Ethan felt a swell of pride. "We are capable of more than we know," he replied. Liara smiled and once again pressed her forehead to his in a gesture that humans would interpret as a kiss, a symbol of trust, respect, and partnership. It was the culmination of a day filled with challenges, learning, and connection. As night fell fully, they set up camp near a river of molten-like liquid. The alien flora glowed softly, illuminating the area. Ethan felt a sense of calm, the kind that comes when danger has been faced and overcome and trust has been forged. "Tomorrow we explore further," Liara said. "There are more secrets here, and your species' ingenuity will be tested." Ethan nodded, looking at the alien landscape stretched before him. He felt a deep sense of purpose, understanding that humans had something special, a spirit that could overcome challenges, form bonds with other species, and shape the future of the galaxy. As he drifted into sleep, he thought of the day's events, the unexpected arrival, the battle in orbit, and the connection with Liara. It had been overwhelming yet exhilarating. He knew that this was only the beginning of an adventure that would test every aspect of human courage and ingenuity. Liara watched him, her luminous eyes reflecting the stars above. She had seen many civilizations, many beings, but she recognized something unique in humans: their ability to adapt, to learn, and to trust in the face of the unknown. She had found an ally in Ethan, one who could face the challenges of the galaxy with her, not as a subordinate, but as a partner. The night was quiet, but the promise of adventure lingered in the air. Tomorrow would bring new trials, new discoveries, and new opportunities for humans to prove themselves. Ethan and Liara had faced the first of many challenges together, and they had emerged stronger, united by courage, intelligence, and trust. As the stars twinkled above Xylera 7, it was clear humanity had a role to play in the Galaxy 1.